Welcome to the Cayman's All In podcast, where we talk all things San Francisco 49ers. I'm your host, David Cayman, and in today's show, we're going to talk about what the worst possible thing that can happen to the San Francisco 49ers in the 2025 season. Let's get it. Now, firstly, I just want to say, guys, apologize for not posting sooner. The youth group just got back from camp. The Lord did some amazing things, man. Super, super blessed to have the opportunity to take that amazing group of students out there to camp this past week. Also, I got a few other projects that I'm working on that I'm looking forward to announcing real soon. So stay tuned for that. It's something I'm very passionate about. Don't get me wrong, absolutely love the San Francisco 49ers, but definitely love Jesus Christ more. Amen. But let's get into this thing. So let's talk about what is the worst possible thing that could happen to the 49ers in the 2025 NFL season. I've talked to a lot of folks, and people are already getting a little bit of anxiety about injuries. I don't know if it's the whole Ricky Pearsall having another hammy problem. I don't know if it's all some of the rookies that have been sitting out as a precaution. I think this has a little bit to do with maybe some PTSD feelings from how the injury situation kind of plagued us a lot last year. I don't think at all that injuries are going to be the worst possible thing that can happen. In fact, if we could just look at this thing at a 10,000-foot view, injuries happen. We're going to have players go in and out throughout the season. It's really the teams that can regroup and weather that storm that have sustained success throughout the season. If you look at even like someone like a Brock Purdy, you might want to just pencil down he's going to miss a game or two. Nick Bosa, he might miss a game or two. Trent Williams, I can't even recall the last time he's even played a full NFL season, if he's even played a full NFL season. The hope is that due to our super easy schedule, man, he can rest up a game or two anyway. So you might as well say a lot of these primary starters, depending upon their wear and tear, might actually miss a game or two. And with Kyle being the proclaimed offensive genius that he is, if something goes wrong and we lose a guy for an extended period of time, a la Brandon Ayuk, I'm looking directly at Kyle and saying, Kyle, time for you to scheme some things up, man. Time for you to get creative and fix the problem with your brain, right? Get out there and scheme, draw us up some plays that are successful with all these speedster rookie guys that we have out here, and make that work. Heard a lot of folks talk about, well, what if the defense is just awful again? What happens if Robert Saleh has had his hand on this entire draft class, bringing in all these young guys, man, that play on D? What if that doesn't work? What if Robert Saleh has kind of taken a step back and he's not as creative as we thought that he once was? Just the fact that he had to coach the Jets, bless his heart, is enough in and of itself. What about another bad special teams year? I really don't think that's going to be that big of a deal either. We've brought in we've brought in another kicker, man, to get out here and really compete with Moody. Jake's on his last straw. We obviously have an eye for picking up talent in the kicking game just because of the guys we brought in last year. They didn't even miss a kick, and they're just replacing Jake Moody role. So just the fact that we have a seasoned special teams coordinator out here, the fact that we have brought in some guys that know what they're doing on special teams, I think instantly that unit's going to be better. In fact, I could roll the dice and just assume that we're going to be better in that area. So I don't think special teams being bad again, bad defense, nor injuries is going to take the cake on this one. Missing the playoffs. Missing the playoffs with having the easiest schedule in football would be real, real bad. Okay, it would be bad. And I really do feel like in order for that to happen, the previous items that were mentioned would have to come into play. You'd once again have to have multiple starters injured again. Let's say CMC has officially taken a full step back and he's just not that dude anymore, right? He's just not as explosive. He takes a step back. Brandon Ayuk can't get out there for 10 to 12 weeks. Ricky Pearsall's in and out. Kittle doesn't have the monster of a season that he had. Trent Williams comes back and plays so poorly that we think he should have retired. I'm just going over a couple of things that would have to happen, I think, in order for us to miss the playoffs. We keep Jake Moody, and he does his normal, in the beginning of the season, looking great thing, and then when it matters, starts missing extra points and field goals, and the special teams is not good. And let's just say Robert Saleh doesn't have that magic that we once thought he did. You compound all those factors in, and boom, you got it. Niners missed the playoffs. Kyle's called in the office. I don't see Kyle getting fired unless there are no injuries, the defense is solid, and it's just simply his game management or something like that cost us 5-6 games. I even think if we missed the playoffs due to a bunch of different factors, I think Jed York, ownership does like Kyle Shanahan. We have been widely successful for the most part. We have been very successful. I mean, making the playoffs, NFC Championship games, losing Super Bowls. Anyway, not going to dwell on that too much, but I really feel like the number one thing, the absolute worst thing that can happen to the 49ers in the 2025 NFL season would be if Brock Purdy just turns into a pumpkin. I mean, complete Cinderella effect. He had that amazing 7-8 game stretch, man, in his rookie campaign where he got to start due to injury. And then, of course, the 2023 season, I mean, he's up there in the MVP talk, right? And you kind of see what happens last year. I do think he really tried to do too much. I think he tried to play hero ball too much, and it burned him, and I really think he learned from it. But let's just say that Brock Purdy never regains his form. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not going to sit up here and say that Brock Purdy has to turn back to 2023 Brock Purdy. But he does need to be successful. He needs to show competence in his skill set, and he has a solid skill set. His processing of information, his anticipation, the way he can pre-read the defense, and the way he can sometimes go off script. I think that's a big factor. I think that teams can't just get crazy and want to tee off on Brock, because I think if they do miss and he uses his legs, he can make some off-schedule stuff happen. Almost like a diet Mahomes. Now, please understand, guys, I'm not comparing Brock to Patrick Mahomes. I will say this, though. And looking at some of his highlights, man, from 23 and even a few times in 24, he did some of that crazy putting his back to the defense type of scramble, throwing across his body, hitting some guys. Like I said, a very diet or Mahomes light-esque type of skill set. So he's going to have to show that, man. He's been paid. He needs to perform. He needs to produce. Again, it doesn't have to be 2023. But let's face it, guys. With this easy schedule, Brock should have some games where he's carving it up out there. And that's what I believe is going to happen, and that's what I anticipate. Another reason I feel like Brock just having a complete collapse would be the worst thing that could happen, not only for the 2025 season, but this is our franchise guy. This is the guy that's going to be here. This is the guy that's going to be here even if there is a regime change in the front office. This man has the literal check in the bank. So if he, for whatever reason, ends up not being it, and I want to be very clear, I like Brock. I do think he's it. I've seen way too much from this kid, man, to feel like he's going to, like, all of a sudden bump his head and not know how to play football. His intangibles speak volumes alone just for itself. He's a high character guy, man. For the most part, does and says all the right things, with the caveat that he's a human being. He puts his pants on the same way I put my pants on, right? So we all have struggles. We all fall short, but he is the type of guy, the type of character guy that I've seen that I feel like the Niners feel like it can be the face of the franchise. So I feel good about that. I feel good about his skill set. I'm super optimistic for the season. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think that there's perhaps something that I completely missed that you feel could be the worst case scenario in the 2025 season? I'm of the opinion if Brock were to regress substantially, it would ruin our 2025 season. And then you got to think about the bleed over until 2026 and moving forward, and the high level impacts that would have on the front office for the Niners. If you like what you saw today, please remember to like and subscribe. As always, take care and be blessed.